At the beginning of the movie, a group of friends, inspired by the millions of views on their previous scary videos, decide to film at eerie locations for YouTube. Raya then introduces them to the idea of exploring a cemetery in Alas Pati Forest, infamous for its curse that torments the buried souls in the afterlife. The following day, all 5 friends depart for Alas Pati Forest. During a food stop, Dido inquires about Alas Pati with the restaurant owner, who informs them that a boat rental is available to cross the beach through the woods. And when asked about the area's rumored haunting, she explains that the souls of the individuals buried there are stuck between 2 realms. As they begin recording their journey to the Alas Pati Cemetery, reputed to be the most haunted place on Earth, Rendy spots a peculiar figure amidst the trees standing still. Just then, his friends call him, and Rendy leaves from there, and we see the figure moving. After a while, when they halt to pitch the tent, Rendy once more glimpses something that unnerves him, prompting him to confide in his friends. Their collective shock escalates when they spot a figure in white garments standing in the woods. Just then, Raya's realization that Vega is missing adds to their anxiety, leading them to call out for her. However, Raya eventually realizes that the figure standing in front of them is Vega, attempting to frighten them. Finally, they stumble upon the cemetery in the heart of the woods, where bodies are not interred underground, but above it. Excited by this discovery, they eagerly explore the eerie surroundings. Rendy takes the opportunity to record himself with a corpse to enhance the video's creepiness, while Dido pretends to interview a dead body. Suddenly, the corpse's movement startles them, only for it to be revealed that Rendy was playing a prank on them. Meanwhile, Raya comes across a dead body whose mouth is covered with a cloth. She notices a talisman around the body's neck and decides to remove it. Jessy appears uneasy about the place, but under pressure from the others, she reluctantly climbs one of the graves. Once on top of the grave, her friends ask her to give a speech, only for tragedy to strike as the grave collapses beneath her, resulting in Jessy's immediate demise. Following Jessy's demise, her friends are consumed by profound grief. Suddenly, the door of Raya's house inexplicably swings open. Moments later, photographs on a nearby wall begin to move. A lamp flickers erratically, and chairs inexplicably move and topple. The following day, while Raya's housekeeper is fixing the photos, one of them unexpectedly moves. Concerned, she approaches Raya and expresses her belief that something may be attached to her from where she went. Meanwhile, as Dido descends the stairs to depart from his house, we catch a glimpse of an entity following him through the reflection in the mirror. Later, while in class, Raya is filled with terror as she spots an entity watching her from outside the window. However, after a while, it mysteriously disappears. While sitting in the canteen, lost in thought over the recent incident, Raya's phone suddenly slips from the table on its own. As she reaches down to retrieve it, the phone unexpectedly slides further away. Raya is taken aback by this, and when she finally retrieves the phone, she is shocked to find someone seated in the chair across from her. However, it turns out to be a girl named Riska, who reveals that she knew Jessy used to spend time with her and her friends. Riska explains that Jessy's mother has been repeatedly asking about her because her phone is switched off and she hasn't been in contact. Her mother has already reported her as missing to the dean, and Riska warns that Raya will likely be added to their list of individuals to be questioned. Later that evening, Rendy heads to the usual meeting spot for him and his friends, only to find none of his friends there. Suddenly, he is startled to see Jessy's ghost there, but in the next moment, another girl appears in her place. The following day, while Raya is in class, she receives a notification on her phone that surprises her. She quickly approaches Dido and questions him about why he uploaded their trip to Alas Pati. He denies uploading anything and expresses confusion when Raya shows him the video. Just then, their teacher asks them to leave the class, prompting Dido to leave immediately. However, when Raya follows him out, she is shocked to find herself in the cemetery of Alas Pati. Suddenly, her attention is drawn towards Jessy, and as Raya moves closer, Jessy's neck twists towards her. Frightened, she attempts to flee, but in a sudden turn of events, she returns to her college. Dido tells her that he spoke with Rendy, who also confirmed he didn't upload the video. Randy suspects Vega might be responsible, suggesting she needed the money to pay her rent. Just as they're about to leave, Riska informs them that the dean wants to see all of them immediately. The dean reveals that Jessy's parents have informed him that she hasn't returned home for 2 days and remains unreachable. He asks them if they know where she is, as they are her closest friends, and urges them to be honest, warning that if there's still no news from Jessy by tomorrow, they will involve the police. Raya goes to Vega's house and finds her sitting in a corner, scared and crying. Vega tells her that she is inside, and just then, they are startled by a noise coming from within the house. Confused and apprehensive, Raya advances toward the room to investigate, despite Vega's plea not to open the door. Unexpectedly, the door swings open on its own, and when Raya steps into the room, she hears a knocking sound emanating from the bathroom. Frightened, she opens the bathroom door and notices a figure behind the shower curtain that suddenly opens and the figure vanishes, leaving Vega to reveal she has been hiding there. Raya then spots a demonic hand emerging from a box, a sight that propels her to attempt an escape, urging Vega to follow. However, an invisible force momentarily hinders Vega's escape, but they manage to overcome it and hastily flee from the scene. That evening, Raya gathers Dido and Randy at her house and shares her belief that Vega has been traumatized since they came back from a last party and the subsequent death of Jessy. Randy reveals that he has attempted to discuss the matter with her, but she has consistently avoided him. Dido then points the finger at Randy for Jessy's death, accusing him of pressuring her to climb the scaffold. In response, Randy retorts by asking who came up with the idea to visit Al-Aspati in the first place. He argues that it was an accident, but the more pressing issue is why Dido didn't allow him to help Jessy. Dido defends himself by saying he saw Vega running away and didn't want them to end up lost in the woods. Randy retorts that if Dido had just allowed him to help Jessy, she might still be alive. Vega becomes frustrated with their argument, and Randy also angrily leaves there. After leaving Vega in the bedroom, Raya rejoins Dido, who plays her a recording and directs her attention to a specific timestamp. Initially, Raya hears nothing unusual. However, when Dido activates the sound pressure detector, she is startled to hear strange sounds emanating from the recording. Meanwhile, we see Vega in the bathroom, who gets terrified seeing herself in the mirror. Later that night, as Raya sleeps in her room, the sound pressure detector activates on its own, jolting her awake. She gets up to check it and feels someone standing behind her, and gets startled to see Vega there. She asks her what she is doing here, and her attention is soon drawn back to the sound detector. And during this, Vega vanishes. Raya rushes out, and to her horror, she witnesses Vega walking without her feet touching the floor, a sight that sends chills down her spine. As Vega turns towards her, she appears completely possessed, and her gaze strikes fear into Raya's heart. Frozen in terror, Raya is unable to move as Vega approaches and forcefully pushes her to the ground. Raya gets up, only to discover that Vega has vanished once more. Suddenly, she observes Vega levitating in the air, but before she can comprehend what's happening, Vega falls. Raya quickly descends the stairs and wakes Vega up. Startled, Vega becomes frightened and pushes Raya away before hastily fleeing from the house. On the other hand, Randy is startled to hear strange sounds in his house, and suddenly, the lights flicker and go off. Terrified, he addresses the unseen presence, questioning its identity and why it's disturbing him. Thinking of the entity as Jessy, he starts apologizing to her, and at that moment, we see a ghostly figure ascending the stairs. Randy quickly grabs his camera, activating its night vision feature to peer into the darkness, and to his horror, he sees the entity responsible for the disturbance in his house, sending shivers down his spine. The following day, they learn that Vega killed herself by jumping from the college building, and Randy says he knows that Vega was killed by Jessy's vengeful spirit, and he fears that they will suffer the same fate one by one. He suggests that they should return to Al-Aspati to give Jessy a proper burial. All three of them arrive at Al-Aspati that same night and bury Jessy's body there. Raya asserts that the following day, they must reveal the truth about what happened to Jessy and face the consequences together. Now, all three of them return with the satisfaction that Jessy's soul will finally be at peace. However, Randy gets shocked to see a video on TV showing them burying Jessy in a last party. His horror escalates as live footage starts playing on the TV and the entity appears behind Randy. Meanwhile, Dido is filled with terror as a message appears on his computer screen, ominously declaring that they have disturbed their peace. Here, Raya hears some sound from her laptop, and she gets shocked, seeing the footage of Dito being attacked and killed by that entity. Randy then appears on the screen and kills himself by slitting his throat, and then the screen goes blank. The scene from a last party then appears on the screen, and to her horror, Raya watches a ghostly figure moving towards her, and before she can comprehend anything, the ghost appears right behind her and takes her life as well. Thanks for facing the frights with us. If you survived this video, drop a like, summon that subscribe button, and brace yourself for more horror. Until next time, stay spooked.